All right, so we are absolutely live. I have Miss Diana here that's been patiently waiting to hear the conversation about this this topic. It's definitely an interesting topic that we go over every single Monday because there are people out there, Mr. Mahdi, that blame Monday every single Monday as being the problem, and Monday is really not the problem. We all know that Monday is just another beautiful day out there that we can all be enjoying, but guess what? Most people have to go to a place that they hate going to. Right. Okay. So instead of them blaming that place, they blame what? Monday. So,
and interesting that you say that. Just to restate what you just said, most people have to go to a place that they hate, when the fact of the matter is that the reason why they feel Monday sucks is because really in their heart of hearts, they know they don't have to go there. I mean, really, they don't. I mean, there is absolutely no one with a gun to your head or with your children held hostage saying that if you don't go here, XYZ is going to happen. So we have choices, and the more exposure we have with other great thinking people, the more choices we have. You know, our experiences are our experiences, and our experiences are what have led us to be where we are right now. And as we commune and share and converse with people who have other experiences, then that can, if it's the right circle of folk, it can elevate you and take your belief beyond where you are right now. So the thing is belief, right? Belief. Who sold us, as you have in the notes I'm looking, who sold you on the idea that job equals security? You know, who said that job equals income, right? We are living through conversations that have been rehearsed to us. As we said in one of the previous Blab sessions that you had, was an excellent Blab, by the way. You know, we are a result of the conversations that we hear over and over and over again. And a lot of times, in order for us to change our belief, we have to be in a situation where the conversations are different. So let me get it back to you. I just wanted to make some comment. I'm looking at the notes. Awesome notes.
I appreciate it. And I'm looking in the comment stream, and Diana wants to take a seat. Awesome. Let's get her to take a seat because I have a couple of questions for her about her clients. So let's see if we can get.
I took that off of my thing. I'm not really sure why it's showing up, but you can go ahead and talk to me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. So welcome to the conversation. And I saw you posted in the comment stream, Diana, that this is a topic you speak to your clients about. So tell us a little bit about your business and the type of clients you deal with.
Well, I organized a movement called the Superhero Solutions Movement. And superheroes is an acronym for Superhuman Entrepreneurs Revolutionizing Opportunities. And I deal with a lot of like people that are aspiring entrepreneurs and small businesses. And it's Muhammad, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Muhammad, and I'm actually glad my picture didn't show up because that's why I didn't want to get in. I was getting ready for bed.
You know,
I look bad.
We knew there was a story behind your picture not showing up, but we didn't want to go there. So we knew there was a story behind it. But go right ahead, Diana.
But what he said was exactly what I have to preach constantly. In Superhero Solutions, what the purpose is to change the way we do business. And it's also to change the mindset that we have been brainwashed into believing, you know. Job, if you listen to a lot of inspirational people or other people talk, just above broke. I mean, you can't build generational wealth on a job. You have to look at multiple streams of income. You have to look at entrepreneurship. You got to look at financial independence. And and all and all these things are new things, honestly, that I've learned in the last 10 years. And I tell my mom all the time, I can't blame you for not teaching me something that you didn't know.
Okay.
But
that seems like that goes back to the whole thing of the conversations that are in the environment that we're in. The conversations in our environment.
And that's the purpose of the movement, to change the conversations in the environments that we're in. Because if we don't change the conversations, then a lot of people that don't have this platform like Blab or Periscope or something that they can actually research this information, they won't get that information. So they won't know that, hey, I don't have to sell drugs on the street. I actually could make more money on a website, you know.
Wow, boy, did you say, wait a minute, did she say a mouthful that time?
Yeah, and yes, she did.
Wow.
And welcome, Eric.
Go right ahead, Ms. Diane. Go ahead. Don't let me stop you.
Well, you know, as I have researched so much, I actually just stopped going to school. I was a semester from getting a degree in entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship has been my passion ever since I was a child. But like I said, I have studied and researched entrepreneurship. I'm from a small town where most of the things that I'm seeing now and I'm doing now, most of the people there have never experienced. And when I try to explain to people what I do from my hometown, they don't get it. They don't understand because they haven't been exposed to it. So that's actually why I moved back to Mississippi, because prior to living back here in Jackson, Mississippi, I was living in Atlanta. And before that, I lived in Indiana. And I lived in Chicago. So I've lived in other big cities. And a lot of the people there are doing these things. But here in the state of Mississippi, a lot of people are just now getting on the bandwagon. It's so many people here with a business that don't even have a website. Just the basic. Right. You know? So how can you... Now, this question I'm going to pose to you too, because I know how I'm doing it. But I have some boot camps that I have set up for next week, and maybe you can give me some suggestions. How do you...
That's what we're here for.
How do you feel that you can change the mindset of a people that has been so rooted in the brainwash that has been given to them ever since day one?
That's a good question. And
okay,
what I would say is, like Mahdi started to talk about, is you have to get them around people that are talking different than what they initially grew up. So I'll give you an example. So a little bit of background about myself. So my dad, okay, I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and my dad is a vendor in D.C. He's been in the Foggy Bottom train station as a vendor outside of D.C. for 34 years. And my dad told me, he said, Zach, when you were born, I was 34 years old, and I made a decision that another man would not dictate my time with my son. I wanted to have my time with my son because I know that time is the one thing we can never get back. So if I ever want to take off for your basketball game, I'm going to make that decision to take off. I didn't want somebody else to make that decision for me. So my dad, you know, me growing up, my dad has always taught me, okay, go to school, get a good education, but start a business. Okay, my dad taught me that. Now, he did say, okay, listen, you may come out of school and you may not necessarily have a business up front, just like I did. He said, but guess what you do? You go to a job and learn everything you can about the ins and outs, learn the systems, and find out how you can put a system in place to work for you. So my dad taught me. So growing up, I learned that, right? But guess what I did? I was hard-headed. So I went to school, okay, got a good education, and I went ahead and just got a good job, okay? But what I learned, Diana, like you were saying, when I got into school, I went to school for business management, okay? And I never forget, I was the guy in class that would ask all the hard questions, okay? I was the guy that gave the professor a hard time, right? So
Me too.
I never forget, I was in class, and my professor was talking about his brother who owns like 15 IHOPs. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So your brother's making some decent money. He owns 15 IHOPs. And my professor never owned a business. So I asked him, why am I listening to you and not listening to your brother? And right then, the whole class, everybody looked at me like, ooh, Zach, you're in trouble now. But it wasn't that I was trying to be rebellious. To me, I was just saying, okay, I need to listen to somebody who can teach me to do something that I'm trying to do. My dad can teach me, his brother could teach me, but he couldn't teach me. So to answer your question, we have to get people into a mastermind, you can say, where conversations are different. Because I guarantee you, if you go into a job environment, in the job environment, that conversation is all about a paycheck. That conversation is all about trading time for money. Nobody's talking about how to start a business because they feel like there's security by trading time for money. So that's all they talk about. So to break that, hey, there she is. So
excuse my hat.
No problem. So to start new conversations, we have to get around a new group of people who can teach us and train us a different mindset to get where we need to go. So Muhammad, what you have?
I agree 1000%. I took the liberty to just take some of the things that you both were saying and shape them in the form of questions that are in the comment stream. So going up to the top, as we change the conversations, we're able to change the belief. And that was the keynote question that Diana addressed when she first came on. How do we turn this around? Well, you've got to change the conversations, change the belief. Now, change the environment, and you elevate the quality of the conversation. If you change the environment, you elevate the quality of the conversation. So, where do we spend our time? What is it that we're speaking about at the dinner table? Take it back inside of the house first. What are the conversations that we're having at the dinner table? Where do we spend our time? And it's okay to go to the current football game or watch whoever's in the whoever you're favoring in the pro basketball tour that's coming up. We're in b-ball season, and so but at the same time, what seminars are you attending? Are you attending any conference? I was looking at listening to an audio tape today by Tony Robbins, and one of the things that he was pointing out was that the average, no, I'm sorry, it was Grant Cardone. It wasn't Tony. Tony Robbins was this afternoon. Earlier this morning was Grant Cardone, and he was saying that people that have incomes of over $100,000 a month, in other words, these are six-figure income earners, studies say that they consume somewhere between 12 and 18 books in the course of a year. Whereas people that are less than $100,000 a year, on average, they consume 1 to 2 books per year. Now, isn't that interesting? So
I've heard that too.
You've heard the adage that readers are leaders.
Yep.
And so that statistic really kind of coincides with your mindset, who you're spending time with, what your current activities are. All of it blends together. And so, again, changing the environment elevates the conversation. If we find ourselves booking appointments to local area conferences, things that are right in your own city, or maybe an hour drive at most from your city, you put yourself in an environment where there are other people. You'll meet other people, just like on Blab. A webinar or a conference is just an extension of, it's the real live version of what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now, as beautiful as it is how do we say, it's digital and it's virtual, right? A live session, a live webinar is the same thing. It's just fortunate that we're in a time now where we can expand the number of people in your locale. There's only so many people that may have the same mindset. when you're on a digital platform like this, when you're on live stream, there can be hundreds of people that come into this Blab. As a matter of fact, if everyone here takes the time right now to tweet this out, if you have Twitter, it just may happen that was a hint, by the way. It just may happen that some of your connections, some of your connections will come to this particular Blab and find themselves in an amazing conversation. And that's what we want. We want to amplify the voice, extend the reach. Come on in, Eric. We see you. There he is. Yeah, we want to amplify the voice and extend the reach. So let me go down to this other question that I put in the comment stream. It was with two questions. How do we amplify the voice? That's one. Two is, in the 21st century, can we take our personal communication tools and use them to mastermind, collaborate, and develop online wealth networks? Now, that's a huge question. That's a 30,000 foot ceiling kind of question.
Yeah.
Can we, in the 21st century, can we take these that the majority of people are using for one of two things, one of three things: paying bills, search, or entertainment?
Mm-hmm.
The average person whose income is under $100,000 is using this for search, paying bills, regular conversation, and entertainment. This has become the way that people who want to control media outlets, that want to control your thinking, that want to program you. Now, instead of you having to have a TV that you sit in front of, right, you can walk around and be programmed 24 hours a day.
Right.
Case in point, watch the average teenager between 13 and 18.
Well, Muhammad,
they're like this all the time.
It's funny you say that, Muhammad.
So, and that's okay. That's okay if we go back to the question.
Yep.
and address the question in the 21st century, since this is the new deal now. Can we use these to teach each other how to mastermind, collaborate, and develop online wealth networks to elevate the conversations, right? So that entrepreneurship, so that passive income, so that long-term assets, wealth accumulation is the conversation. That's the conversation, right? Instead of other things.
It needs to be the conversation.
Eric, welcome to the conversation, sir.
Yeah.
Awesome to have you. Where are you joining us from?
I am from Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Pacific Northwest. You don't hear that every day.
Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Raised here. Born in Monroe, Louisiana. That's where the majority of my family resides. But my grandma came up here, and then her kids came up here, so we came up here.
She's a trailblazer.
Yeah, no question. Actually, there's a lot of folks from Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas up here.
What do you enjoy about the conversation, the subject for tonight? What brought you here?
Well, I was just thinking about it today, about exactly what Zach was talking about. Is I've been on a job, working. My dad was a guy who worked 20 years on one job, 20 years on another job, and hard worker. But during the time when my dad was working, he was able to purchase more than one home, 3 homes, and be able to actually have homes for rentals and things of that nature. But that was during my dad's time, when there was an actual middle class where you could purchase that and create income. My dad has always had income, always had money just from regular jobs. But I know that's not the case for us, nor is it the case for my kids. And I was just thinking, like Zach was talking about what his dad did, and I said that's exactly how I feel about my son and my 2 daughters is that I don't want to lose time chasing after something that's not there.
Right.
You know, I just left my job in August after 8.5 years, and right now I'm in a flux. That's actually why I'm on this. And I saw this, and I was like, I got to get on here and just see if I can't get some nuggets, so that I can pursue what's in my heart to do. Just try to figure out how to monetize, you know, the skill sets. Again, back to Zach, that I learned on my jobs. You know, as far as customer service is as far as customer service and just being a people person and being able to actually serve people and give them what they need in order for them to get what they want, and eventually for me to get what I want. Something every talk about, and I agree with putting people, you know, getting in the right circle, because you can't, you know. Hello,
Mr. Walker, can you hear me?
Getting in the right circle. Yeah, I can hear you.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's hard for me to listen to what you're saying and not go into coach mode.
Go ahead.
Now I'm hearing what you're saying. Now I'm going to repeat this to you, and you tell me if this is what you're saying. You're saying at this current state in your life, you want to do something different than what you're doing, but you don't see an opportunity where you can do that right now. Am I correct?
I only caught the last part of "you want to do." The rest of it was in robotic.
Okay. Can everybody else hear me?
I can hear you now.
We hear you fine.
Okay. I said, it sounds like to me what you're saying is you want to do something different in your life than what your current career has been, but you don't see where you have the opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Now, what is actually stopping you? Is it time? Or is it money?
I'm my
What?
only.
Or both.
I am my only. I should say, stumbling block, because my family, my closest friends, my pastor, my mentors, everybody's like, you got the goods, go for it. But for whatever reason, I literally have hit some stumbling block, and it's just like, actually, it frustrates me to see what others are doing, not because of their success, but because I'm saying I know what I can do.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So your only stumbling block actually is yourself, and you're correct. That's what I was gonna let you know. Money is not a reason not to do something. Time, believe me, I could show you where you can find an hour in your day to always work towards your dream. But I'm going to let you know, just listening to what you said, you were given a purpose. Everybody that was put here on this earth was given a purpose by the Almighty, whoever you believe that to be, that you can use to feed yourself that like no other could. Now, I got the gift of gab. I can talk all day long. That's what God gave me. My mama said I've been doing it since I came out the womb. But at the same time, you was given something that can elevate your family to a whole nother level. And it sounds like to me that you need to get out of your own way to make that happen.
No question.
Hey, I'd like to offer a couple of things. Number one, great conversation. Our subject tonight is Stop Blaming Monday. Your job sucks. And Zach has a subtopic that is the new rich. I'm going to offer that for everyone here, for everyone here, Deanna and Eric, we have a Facebook group that I think you'll find fascinating. The Facebook group is entitled Create Lifestyle Freedom. And in that Facebook group,
I like the title already.
I like that too.
Okay, well, interestingly enough, those 3 words, if you say them in anyone's language, they evoke a picture, no matter what continent that person is from, it evokes a picture that that person resonates with, and it's always positive. It begins with an action phrase, create, and then lifestyle freedom comes directly behind that. But the group, Facebook group, is a group of entrepreneurs. It's a growing community of entrepreneurs, brand new group on Facebook. But many of the people have known each other over time. We're entrepreneurs from different countries, different backgrounds, different career paths, different educational levels, that have gathered together really for the pursuit of a couple of things. Number one, having an amazing life that's directed on your purpose, whatever you have determined your purpose to be, with no concerns. Number two, no concerns about how the financial expenses, monthly expenses are going to be met. And number three, making a positive impact on people in the world around you. That's how we've defined create lifestyle freedom. But again, depending upon where you are in the world, when you say those three words to a person in their language, they come up with their own idea, and it's always positive about what that means for them. So in this Facebook group, we have some very basic foundational masterminding entrepreneurs from different industries, right? But what we're doing is we are sharing with each other ways that we can come into, number one, complete mastery over our weekly cash flow, our monthly income, and how we manage our financial affair. And number two, ways that we can have complete mastery over time. So that's what the Facebook group is like. And I invite you all to go over. It's in the chat. The link is there. Go over to the chat and just request to join. We'd be happy to have your energy inside the group. Eric, since you are transitional, I think it would be extremely beneficial for you, because you would find kindred spirits over there. And part of the conversation that's there is my story marketing. I heard you say just a second ago that you needed to look within your set of experiences for how you could leverage your life experiences into the new thing that you are going to be doing outside of a job. And so my story marketing, and we have a conversation about that on Sundays, a Blab. Okay. That's what it's entitled. Yeah. So if you follow me on Blab, you'll be able to come and bring your associates to that conversation. My story marketing is a discussion about how you can take your ideas, your talents, your skill sets, and turn those into readable, watchable, listenable content, right? That people can find online. They can find you online and possibly resonate with your story, partner with you if you have a project, or become a customer of yours if you have something that you're offering. So my story, I think you get a lot of value out of that whole conversation. My story marketing. Zach, you were talking about the new rich. We're in the second half of this. I don't want time to pass us by. We want to keep it rolling.
Yeah, you segue right into the second half of it, because the Create Lifestyle Freedom, the movement, the mastermind, is where I really came up with the second half of the new rich. So I read a book a while ago. One of my favorite authors now, Mr. Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if you have read his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrants. So Mr. Kiyosaki says that the new rich, they look and build networks. Everyone else looks for it. So when I came a part of the Create Lifestyle Freedom Mastermind, I was looking to expand my network. So I definitely recommend, I know Diana said she's already joined the mastermind. Eric, definitely come in and join that mastermind, because you will find someone that has a similar background to you that can now teach you how to expand your knowledge, like you said, from the previous jobs you have, that can now take you to a different level that you want to go. And Eric, matter of fact, what is your background like? What is some of the work you've done?
That was my next question.
Eric, still with us?
Is he frozen?
He's hey, Eric, you can probably hear us, but I think you are
the majority
Blab
of
connection
it
that you have.
Been either in reach. Yeah, can
The
you
majority
hear me?
of it is what?
I can see y'all.
Yeah, Eric, do a favor. Do us a favor. You're experiencing a Blab glitch. It's probably not you, a Blab glitch.
Okay.
So what you want to do is just refresh this page. And that might bump you out of the seat, but we'd be happy to bring you right back into the seat. Go ahead and refresh because it's showing as you have a poor internet signal on our side.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Can y'all see me?
No.
So Eric, look, I'm gonna exit you out.
Can you see me now?
Not yet. Look, I'm gonna exit you out.
All right,
but
I gotta go out, huh?
Come right back in though. Hold on.
So, Zach, you were saying.
So yeah, the new rich.
Create lifestyle freedom. What's the connection?
Yeah, when you hear the new rich, Diana, what resonates with you when you hear that?
Actually, the new rich to me, I think more so is a more even distribution of wealth. You know, I come from a relatively poor
Can y'all
area.
hear me now?
So, yes.
Oh man.
My biggest thing with what I'm doing is instead of me focusing so much on myself, just like Muhammad said, when you don't worry so much about the money, because as you move in your purpose, the money will show up because you're doing what it was that you was intended to do. And with that being said, people will gravitate to you. You know, that's like a belief of mine. So a lot of times I don't go out and look for the people that I need to make my dream happen. A lot of them just show up based on the things that I do. And as long as you're moving in your purpose, then the people will show up. So the new rich to me is not just the same 1% of wealth across the nation. We're distributing that wealth more so to the middle class and to the lower class, and teaching them the multiple streams of income, teaching them the investment properties, the stock portfolios, teaching them the things like Muhammad said and you said, Zach, that they've never heard of, or discussions that they've never had. So that's what I hear when I hear the new rich. It's not just me being rich, but I bring up a movement, a revolution with me.
And you also talked about, I think I'm hearing you saying too, attraction marketing, because like you said, if you're living in your purpose and you're doing things that you're passionate about, and people.
I'm glitching, man.
And Eric is back. So Eric, we can hear and see you. So we're gonna come right back to you and go back to that. Well, he jumped off.
He went out.
Eric is having what we had last week called technical blab. But
you know something, Zach, you said something so important earlier, which is something my parents had to move into later on, because they didn't understand where I was going as a child. Because I actually started doing business ventures when I was like 15, 16 years old. I started having events and I would throw parties and stuff. I raised the money by mowing yards, and then I went and rented out a room and had my first birthday party and charged to get in. And I made $5,000, and my dad was like, "How did you do that?" You know, so I've always had entrepreneurship.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Y'all are all frozen. I'm just gonna listen.
Yeah, he going in and out.
So what will
Zach? You might want to
but Zach, what I was saying to you, Zach, is you said something so important when you said your dad, he really forced to you or expressed to you entrepreneurship, start your own thing. I didn't have that. I had the exact opposite of that. My dad told me at 10 years old, if you go to my website, I put the story on there. He said to me at 10 years old, when I drew a picture of a mall that's what I wanted to own one day, that my dreams were too big. He said, why don't you be a nurse or be something, go to college and get a good job. So I think a lot of it is that nature versus nurture debate. You know, although I feel like by nature, I'm an entrepreneur. I was nurtured as a job person. But and my mind, my body, everything has fought against that my whole life. So now I'm in my 30s and I'm just now breaking out and saying, you know what, enough. This is not who I am. 9 to 5 is not who I am. I always end up helping business owners that I know build their dreams, but I'm not building my own. And that's when I had to break out and change.
Wow, Diana, look, I want to say something before I forget. One real quick, Muhammad. I gotta say this before I forget. I want to say, because she said something very important on how people. So this is why you have to get around a mastermind who is thinking the same way that you think. So this is why it's very important that anybody that's listening to this Blab join the Create Lifestyle Freedom Mastermind, because you will get around thought leaders that are thinking the same way you're thinking. Because here's what I realized, Dan. Okay, most of the time, people that say you have too big of a dream is because they feel like that they couldn't achieve that dream for themselves. So they try to put a mental block on you, saying you can't do it because they feel like they can't do it, and they try to teach you the best on what they know, what they've been taught. You know, because somebody taught them the same thing. So since that mental block is with them, they try to pour that into you, like, well, Diana, you know, don't dream too big. You know, because think about a child, right? Children have no fear. Okay, they tell you what they want to be. I want to be a lawyer, a doctor. I want to do this. I want to do that. And guess who puts that fear into them? Everybody else.
The parents. Parents. Everybody else.
Okay. Yep. Instead of them fostering that dream, they put fear into them. So we have to get it.
Who are the new rich?
Say it again.
What now?
So who are the new rich?
So the new rich.
What makes them different?
Well,
you brought it up. That's your topic. So who are they, and what makes them different?
It's us. It's the people who will get on Blabs like this, who will join masterminds, who will collaborate with each other to say, you know what, like Diana said, enough is enough. Okay, we are no longer going to teach, go to school, get a good education to get a good what? We're not going to say that. We're not saying that. Okay.
Job is the cuss word.
Right, it is. Listen, we are in the 21st century, right? Listen, I'm telling you guys, the millennial generation have figured it out. Millennials, look, they don't want to go work 40, 50 years for somebody else. I met a young lady, like Muhammad was saying, okay, from her cell phone. When, what was that social media with the videos, Vine? When Vine first came out, okay, her dad owns a traditional business. Okay, he's an optometrist, okay? Her dad told her, why are you doing those stupid videos? That's what he said to his daughter. Why are you doing those stupid videos? Until his daughter came home with a check for $3,500. And she said, Dad, here's why I'm doing these stupid videos, because I can make a video that took me 5 minutes to make, and I get paid $3,500 from every video I do. She gets sponsorships for people to make videos, and she's doing it from her phone. So the millennials have figured out, I don't have to go trade time for money.
Yep.
I can make money off my cell phone and leverage my time and still generate income. Because the fact of the matter is, you don't need a job, you need income. Now we have to find a way to produce income outside of the job.
Exactly. And I seen that as one of your questions. How do I make legitimate income outside of my job? And there are so many ways, you know, and now I think the popular phrase is side hustle. You know, I feel like if you're going to do a side hustle, do it till it becomes your main hustle. You know, start with the end in mind. Don't start a side hustle with the intention of keeping it a side hustle. Right. Start a side hustle with the intention of that being your main thing, you know, once you get to a certain income level.
I'm going to offer something while we're on the conversation, and I would just want to elevate the conversation. Okay, so we're in the 21st century, and hustle is okay for a term, but Here's another way. Here's another approach that I'd like to look at this. How do we use the technology that we have to allow income and opportunity to flow to us? How do we take our ability to mastermind and communicate at the speed of now across continents because of these? How do we take platforms, live stream platforms like Blab, like Periscope, like Meerkat, like Google Hangouts, and connect with people who will form projects so that we can begin moving from job-based income models where we're trading time for money to project-based income models that are based on us collectively as a small mastermind from city to city in whatever city you're in and into other countries, how we take these small groups that are project-based groups, and the project becomes looking into the marketplace for need. So what are some of the current needs in the marketplace, and how can we build a project around addressing that need, right? And like we've touched on a lot of things. Deanna, you spoke earlier about blogging, right? As being a way of taking you spoke about blogging. And so I'm going to kind of expand on that. Wouldn't it be cool if we were able to take kids at the high school level and develop a program where they would take ownership of a blog platform and write about the things that are important to them. See, we're in the age again of my story marketing. And so why don't we take this technology, like something as simple as a blog, and develop a platform where high school kids all the way up through graduate school adults, right, from 13 to 23, can take ownership of a blog, write about things that are important to them. So whatever your thing is, if you're music, right? If you're into music and musicianship, you play in the high school band, you may play in a community orchestra, you may love hip hop, you may love R&B, whatever your thing is, then blog about what your thing is. If you are a skateboarder and you've learned a new kickflip technique that the world would be wowed at, right? Take your blog and turn it into a video blog, showcase your techniques, attract other people that love what you love, develop a network of people who have common interests, and as people come into your network, whatever your network is, right? It could be entrepreneurship. You could have a network of educators. You could have a network of healthcare professionals. You could have a network of engineers, but you develop a network. And as these people come into the network, they take ownership of this blog and other digital tools, and they write about what they love. And every time someone comes into the network and takes ownership of this platform, and income is generated, by the way. By the way.
Muhammad, I love you.
Well,
the reason
I just want to elevate the conversation.
The reason why I said that is because if you go to my website, I am a superhero.co. And if you go to my website actually is something like what you said. And we have already started to move into something for the teenagers. My son is 17, and we're already working on his business that does the exact thing that you just said. That's why I was sitting there smiling, because I'm listening to you describe the business that me and my son has started developing. My son went through a program called where is the certificate? I think it was Junior Youth Entrepreneurship Institute. He went through that program, and I ended up being one of his mentors. They had 2 mentors, and if you go to my website, I got pictures of me, my son, and 2 other young ladies. We mentored those kids in starting a business. They decided on the business. They came up with everything. My son put together, at the time he was 15, put together a PowerPoint presentation as to what this business would be, how it would work, how they would make their money. And it was a app. And he won over all the other kids. It actually was his business idea. We ended up joining the 2 little girls in later on because their mentor had to go out of town. And we ended up joining everybody together, and they ended up winning the competition. And my professor was one of the people that was over the actual event. And she named me as the hardest working woman in entrepreneurship, because I was there every week with those kids, walking them through how entrepreneurship works, the different parts of it. And I feel like this is why I started the organization. If I can walk a child through it to get them from the ideal to the business door, then I can walk an adult through it. So that's why my boot camp, if you go to my website, my boot camp has some local events that I'm going to be doing in Mississippi, because see, this is really difficult to portray in Mississippi. You know, there's a lot of people not on this level.
I like the word challenging better.
Yes, very challenging. I said I love you. Didn't I say that?
No, you said difficult.
I love you, Muhammad. But yes, it's very challenging. And I've actually been told by a few people that I'm wasting my time by trying to change the mindset of the people here. And I don't believe so. You know, it may be easier to do in the city, but the simple fact is, if someone does not start here, if someone is not our superhero here, then it will never happen. Somebody has to step to the forefront and make it happen. So, you know, I had been working with the university with those kids for 2 years, and then this year they did not do an event. So that's why I came in and I came up with the $1 boot camp, and I'm doing that in 4 cities in Mississippi during the week of Global Entrepreneurship Week. So if you can,
make sure you post your website, because I want people to be able to reach out to you and check that out. Post that in the comments.
Okay.
See that there. And one thing I wanted to tell you while I was thinking about it as well, like Muhammad is saying, it's challenging, it's not difficult, but you're the trailblazer, right? You're that person that now your story, so we talk about my story in marketing, your story is going to be what influences other people to now, guess what, come along and join that movement. So you were absolutely.
I hope so.
Diana, let me tell you why that's absolutely true. Let me tell you why what Zach is saying is absolutely true, that your story will be the impetus. Because, all right, isn't it true that if you get in a boat and you go so far, you're going to fall off the edge of the earth, because obviously the earth is flat. Obviously, isn't it true? Isn't it true that the sun revolves around all of the other planets instead of the planets revolving around the sun? Isn't it true? Isn't it true that if you're a white, if you're a female born in Western Europe during the 14th to the 16th century, and you believe in anything other than Catholicism, isn't it true that you deserve to be burned at the stake? Isn't it true that the Aryan race is obviously the superior race, and a whole world war was? So what am I saying? I'm saying the question that I just posed in the chat stream. If you get enough people saying a thing, doesn't matter what the thing is, if you get enough people saying a thing with enough frequency, that thing, no matter what it is, becomes true. Yes or yes?
You're right.
Yes or yes? Yes. So whatever it is that is your driving story, Diana, that you are putting your energy with these youth behind, you've got to find ways to amplify the voice. Remember I used that phrase earlier today? Mm-hmm. You've got to find ways to amplify the voice, because your voice isn't big enough. It's just not. Right? Malcolm X's voice isn't big enough, right? Gandhi's voice wasn't big enough. Gandhi's voice wasn't big enough. Any of the prophets that walked the face of the earth, guess what? They had disciples. Did they or did they not? I'm just asking.
No, you're correct.
So the experience that I'm seeing, that I'm witnessing is that for every good story, you have to have ways of amplifying that story. So we're in the age now where we can amplify like crazy. Mm-hmm. Yes or yes?
Yes.
So let me be quiet. Cherie McKenzie has joined our seat. Thank you so very much for being patient while I ranted and rambled on. Cherie, welcome to the session. The conversation is cash flow. Oh, he's changed it.
You changed it.
Cash flow is the real issue. My story marketing. Okay. And so we were speaking about the new rich for a second, and who are the new rich? How are they characterized? I don't know if we treated that subject with enough depth. Perhaps we can do that again. But Zach has just changed the story, and so following his lead, the story now is my story marketing. What is that all about? What does that mean to you, Cherie McKenzie?
Well, first off, I'm echoing.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're only echoing in your own head.
No. I can hear it, so okay. I'm not hallucinating.
No. I'm just. Okay. We don't hear the echo on this side, so you're good. Right. Go right ahead.
First off, it's Sherry.
Thank you so much for the correction, Sherry.
And I came in because I like to sort of lurk before I come into a room. So I was really enjoying the conversation. And is it Deanna or Diana?
Diana.
Diana. Let me say this, my dear. Don't become discouraged. That the thing that I always tell myself is sort of a line from the Bible where it says, even a prophet is not honored in his hometown. Okay. Yeah. So.
And this is my hometown.
Yes, and I've experienced that. I moved from Denver to Jacksonville, Florida, and it was like going from England to France. Okay, and just trying to get people to sort of understand what it was that I was presenting, and it finally dawned on me. Yes, there are some people here who understand what I'm saying, but I've got to search for them. I have to work harder to find those people, okay? And that may be your situation. But I also understood, sort of like Muhammad was saying, that this opens a whole world up to you, so that you can find those people who readily understand some of the things that you're doing and are willing to support you. And the thing that I found interesting is that once people from other places started supporting some of the things that I was doing, the people in the place, yes, then it was like, and I haven't done anything different, and Zach, you nailed it for me when you said millennials have figured it out, and they have. Because I get that. I can remember my father worked for the same country club for 32 years and was, sort of beating my brother over the head that he left when he was in high school. He left one job as a bag boy to go to another grocery store to get a nickel more an hour, And my father was saying, "Oh, why are you doing this?" Millennials have figured it out. You can do, and there are some people I know who have done everything right, and they have ended up in a not so great place. Absolutely. So working for somebody else, we all have to do what we have to do, but if there's something that you're interested in, something you know how to do, something that you've run into, someone that, you know, sort of like Muhammad is passing out little wisdom chips here, you know, bond with them so that you in turn can find a way to monetize that. A perfect example, and then I'll shut up, that I do a podcast, and I recently interviewed this couple who spent 6 months traveling. And when they came back home, they realized that 6 months had changed them forever. They could not go back to their regular jobs. She was a tax attorney and he was an advertising sales executive, okay, which is a fancy way of just saying he sold advertising. They saved up money, sold everything they had. They now blog, go to different resorts and post reviews, do foodie reviews and this, that, and the other. They've been traveling now for 3 years, okay? Just doing that, staying at fancy resorts. They also set up a business on Amazon, and they in turn sell stuff through Amazon and this, that, and the other. And that finances, that provides them with hard cash, okay? But the reviews at the different resorts and things of this sort, reviews at for wineries that they've met in Europe, finances all of their trips. They spent 2 months in India, 4 months in Italy. They're parked now. They're so tired of traveling in Thailand, and they love it. So I say all of that to sort of bring full circle everything that you guys have been saying, and use that as a way. That's my story in terms of why I walked into this Blab.
Awesome. Awesome. And we appreciate you coming on and sharing that. And, I mean, guys, I'm enjoying this conversation. It's been a lot of great input tonight. And just to recap for anybody who's going to watch this on the replay, the way this started off is I have a friend of mine that is always complaining about Mondays. Every time I talk to him, he's complaining about Monday. So finally I asked him, I said, is it that Monday sucks or is it your job that sucks? So he told me it was the job. So we started this Blab for the last 4 weeks of stop blaming Monday. It's your job that sucks. Okay. And we'll subtitle it every single Monday. So this Monday it was stop blaming Monday. Okay, it's your job that sucks, the new rich. And we got into a discussion about the new rich, who are they, what they do. And I love a comment I see in here that I didn't have a time to address where it says, Monday doesn't suck, it's your mindset. We talked a little bit about mindset in this Blab tonight as well too. So mindset is everything. You have to get around some different people who can teach you some different things that you previously may have learned. Okay, right. So you got to change the thinking. I had a mentor of mine when I first got started. As an entrepreneur, told me, Zach, you have to change your stinking thinking.
Right. I knew you was gonna say that.
I totally agree. So,
why did I know you was gonna say that?
a lot of mentors out there, they all say when it comes to mindset, if they read any of the thought leader books of the Think and Grow Rich, you know, those type books, any John Maxwell books, you know, they all say change your stinking thinking. All right, because it all starts up in your mind.
Right.
And then we gravitated toward cash flow, because the biggest thing is most people feel like, okay, well, Zach, if my job sucks, I need my job. It's not necessarily that you need your job, you need income. Now we have to figure out to generate some income, right? So Diana gave some awesome thoughts, Muhammad gave some awesome thoughts, and what I kind of want to do is get you guys final thoughts on this, because I want to keep this going, but I actually have a conference call I'm going to do about perception. I don't sleep. Like, I promise you, I don't sleep. So right after this, I'm doing a conference call about perception. So you know, we're going to do that. So I want to go around the horn and get some final thoughts. I want you guys to share, if you have a Blab, how can everybody here subscribe to one of your Blabs, and let's continue these conversations, you know, because it needs to be said. So closing thoughts. Who want to go first? Muhammad, start it off.
Okay, I am over here putting a new Blab session in. So I'm going to pass the baton to Ms. Deanna and ask her to give her closing thoughts first. I'll be right with you.
Okay. Okay. Cash flow is the real issue. My closing thoughts on that is just like I said before, we have to change the mindset from JOB, just above broke, to multiple streams of income. We need to build a portfolio. We need to think about not only the multiple streams that we have coming in, but the investments that we need to do, the insurances. We need to talk about it, protecting ourselves. There's so many subjects inside of that portfolio we need to talk about. So when people say that, hey, we have a problem with the cash flow, no, it's just like with the other thing. We have a problem with the mindset.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Ms. Sherry?
Okay, well, I'll say money in itself is not the issue. It's more or less how you organize your life. How, because most people assume if I have a lot of money, then everything will be great. No. Just from the standpoint, if you can't manage $10, you can't manage 10 million. Okay. That's the first thing. And then there are ways for you to figure out how you can organize your life so that it has purpose. And that, more than anything, will more or less create all of the other things. If your life has purpose, you're going to find something to do that later on you may be able to monetize. If your life has purpose, then you're going to figure out how I'm able to work from home and still be able to do stuff. So money in and of itself, money is just the medium. So you in turn can decide which medium or how you choose to use the medium. And I'll close by basically saying, Warren Buffett is the richest man in the world. He's not riding around in a Mercedes, and he's not walking around with gold chains and things of this sort. In fact, he has a rather low profile outside of Berkshire Hathaway. So look at money as simply a tool or a medium, because once you found your purpose and you begin to actualize that, all of that other stuff in terms of being able to convert the medium, various mediums, as Diana was saying, into something that you can live on will come from that.
Awesome. It's my turn, isn't it?
Can't escape it now.
All right. Great comments. Cash flow is a real issue. My story marketing, that's the subject that we're speaking to, that we're going to carry in for Zach's next session. So I'll say it this way, that money is a medium, as Miss Sherry stated. It is what we exchange for the things that for other things that we want. It's just energy. It's energy. However, it's important. I cannot minimize the importance of cash flow, because that's in the title over there. Cash flow really is the issue. For every adult over the age of 16, cash flow really is the issue. The more we address it and have conversations about cash flow, and then transition from job-based ways of developing cash flow into project-based ways of developing cash flow, the more successful we'll see, the more productivity we'll see among all people, period. All people. Doesn't matter what color, what continent, it won't matter. You're going to see productivity rise as people overcome the cash flow issue. So that being the case, that being the case, what was the other thing that I wanted to speak about? Cash flow really is the issue. My story marketing. It was a big point, and the Creator blessed me to get it back. But I think that, you know, it's an excellent subject. We cannot minimize it. It's been said by other people that, well, money isn't everything, but it does rank right up here with oxygen. You know, so cash flow is something that, again, we have to teach. We have to teach this fiscal responsibility. If there was more people, let me put it this way: the more people that we have satisfying just basic necessities, having the financial wherewithal to satisfy basic necessities, the more people, listen to this very carefully, the more people we will have moving into bringing creative ideas to the world that will change the face of everything. When people, we have an adage, I'm from Senegal, West Africa, and we have an adage there that you can't feed people from empty plates. So philosophy is great. You know, all of these lofty ideals are great. But the bottom line is, if a man is in front of you doing this and all you have is a word, somewhere in some volume of books, there was a situation where a wise person came to a multitude and he was going to give a conversation. But while he was giving the conversation, he decided that the people not only needed his philosophy, but he manifested by the Creator's power that he fed the multitude with manna, with bread and fish. So if a person is in front of you like this, all of the lofty ideals are great. Money isn't important. Tell that to the next guy, right? Cash flow is an issue. And let's find ways, let's use these tools, let's use the power of Mastermind, let's use collaboration to identify a lot of ways that we can generate cash flow. A lot of ways that we can generate cash flow. Let's get to it, pass that around, and the more that we become active in passing around ways that people can remedy their situations by coming into cash flow, the more they will listen to our philosophy. The more we will be able to have a Blab session like this packed out across continents. There's no limit on Blab. There's 32 people that have signed up for this one. Why couldn't it be 32,000? Why not? Why couldn't it be?
Don't despise the damn small beginnings.
So while we're on that subject, what I'm going to challenge everyone here to do is a couple of things. Number one, there is a Blab that is coming up on Thursday that I have. It's entitled Global Wealth Networks and Cash Flow. Now, if you think that create lifestyle freedom, that 3-word phrase is power packed. Global Wealth Networks is another one that's way up here as a principle that the new rich are taking advantage of that we need to know about. We need to be discussing what is a global wealth network? How do you build one or join one? How does it function? What are the benefits? We'll be speaking about that on Thursday. So here's the challenge. I'm going to challenge everyone to get with your circle of influence, the people that are in your universe of contacts, associates, and relations, and invite them to the Blab on Thursday. Let me put my Blab address in. And by doing that, we'll all kind of things will happen. You know, when 80% of the deal is showing up. So when we bring other people and they show up, we're going to have people that will take the seat with amazing inputs on Thursday. Next Sunday, we'll have another Blab. The Monday that follows, Zach Shahid will have his Blab again. right? We'll be back next Monday. And as we grow this audience of people having these important conversations, then all kind of just miraculous things will happen. So let me put this in. Are you all up for the challenge?
Sure.
That's a question.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I can try.
I don't know. Immediately disqualifies you now. I just have to let you know. And it's all good, but it immediately disqualifies you. So the question is, are you up for the challenge? Cool. If not,
how does it go? I've been kicked out of better places than this. So that if you put the link, and I'll see how I can work it in, because
awesome.
Again,
not put too many T's in there. I was excited, wasn't I? So let me do that again.
No, because the thing that I found in terms of some of the stuff that I do, it's just me. I've learned that I have to establish boundaries for my time. Okay. Yes, because there's a lot of things that I want to do, but there are also some things that I have to be doing, because you can get everything else back. Time is the only thing, so
Ms. Marie, all I'm asking, here's the challenge: come to one of our blabs.
Okay.
Pick one.
Well, I've come to this one, and
awesome. So come again.
To another one.
Come again, and bring 5 people with you. Bring 5 people, Deanna. Bring 5 people with you. No matter what you have to do. Hey, you know what? We're going to have a conversation on this Blab session that I know you're going to find to be absolutely fascinating. Okay. You got to come, right? So that's what you tell your people. You use that line.
Here's my condition, and then I've got to go. But
yes, ma'am.
That my thing now is that I'm into actionable steps.
Sure, we can give you some of those.
Yeah. So if nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and click on the deal, and I want to see actionable. I want to hear actionable steps. Okay.
Absolutely. By the way, if you scroll up, Cherie, there's a Facebook group, Create Lifestyle Freedom. I'm
not on Facebook.
I see. Okay, no problem. So
I'm the last person on earth who's not on Facebook.
It's no problem. I mean, there's a lot of different platforms.
That's my claim to fame.
A lot of different platforms out here. So your statement was you need actionable steps. Our actionable steps are really going to be based on your special interests. That's how we work.
Okay.
We find out where people are, what your skill sets are, what your strong point is, what your area of interest is, and then we build actionable steps around what you really want to do.
Okay.
That's how we roll.
Well,
and that you directly. Diana, same thing for you and your son and the group that you're with. We're going to be building actionable steps that are based on your interests. Does that make sense?
What time Thursday?
Oh, Thursday is what time Thursday? 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But I was speaking about the Facebook group. No, I was speaking about the Facebook group, Diana.
No, I already entered into the Facebook group.
Awesome.
Facebook group.
And I know Zach said he had to leave, so.
Yeah. Real quick though, but you have on there that the one on Sunday is at 11 p.m.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
I was typing fast, trying to listen to you all at the same time. So
that's
got to go back and edit it.
Okay.
You definitely
Sunday is at 6:30. Sunday is 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
It'll pop up. It'll pop up when you change it, and when you change it, then we can go ahead and subscribe to it. So that's fine.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and subscribe, and it'll make the change. Okay.
I'll be changing it as soon as we finish up.
All right. Sounds good.
Zach, do you have anything to say before you go?
Hey, listen, I was enjoying you guys' conversation. I love the dialogue. I love the mastermind and the collaboration. So all I want to say is definitely let's continue to support each other. I already have followed everyone on this Blab. Make sure you follow me back. I will subscribe to any Blabs you have. Next Monday, I'm back at it again. Next Monday, 10 p.m., right back at it. Invite some people out. Let me know when you have your Blabs. I will do the same thing for you and invite some more people. So, with that, I got to get on this conference call and talk about perception. So,
Bye, guys.
Bye.